Exclusive contract from Feilu Novel Network Novel. Honghuang. Nuwa signs in her belly and is born as the sage of the Great Road. Lin Feng traveled to the world of the wilderness and was reincarnated into the belly of Nuwa. And obtained the check that in system. Ding, preach at Zixiao Palace, sign in for the first time, obtain the cultivation method, Hongmeng Creation Sutra. Ding, preach at Zixiao Palace, sign in for the second time and obtain the precious treasure of Hongmeng Qinglian. Ding, Zixiao Palace preaching, third check that obtained one of the top 10 innate spiritual roots, Huang Zhongli. Ding, check in at Mount Bu Zhou and obtain the incomplete chaos treasure, killing God spear. Ding, sign in on Sanxian Island and obtain the Hongmeng Purple Qi. So, Lin Feng silently signed in the belly of Nuwa. Until one day, Lin Feng was born. Born is the sage of the Tao. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1 Check-in System, I became the belly of Nuwa. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. In the midst of the wilderness, a vast and magnificent mountain peak stands tall. The mountains are vast, spanning hundreds of millions of miles horizontally and vertically. At the top of the mountain, there is a towering sky, shrouded in clouds, as if one can reach the deepest part of the sky. On top of the mountain, there are flowing springs and waterfalls, rich in spiritual energy, and the ground is shrouded in mist, making it the best cave paradise in the world. And this is also the most magnificent first mountain in the wilderness. Bu Zhou Shan. The unpredictability is indescribable, and the vastness of its territory cannot be overstated as a vast continent. And there are also many reclusive and powerful creatures on Mount Bu Zhou. At this moment, halfway up the mountain, a dojo called Fengqi Mountain was buzzing with whispers of the Taoist path. The child is about to be born, and when the time comes, my mother will take you on a journey through the wilderness. Your uncle Fuxi has been waiting for you for a long time. In the Fengqi Mountain Dao Chang, a graceful woman, while caressing her belly, showed a hopeful smile on her stunning face. About 2 yuan before the meeting. While traveling, she unexpectedly became pregnant after being injured by an extraterrestrial object. If it were her, I'm afraid she would have been shocked long ago. But she is not an ordinary person, but a natural genius, Nuwa. She was born as the great Luo Golden Immortal, and it is not an ordinary difficulty for her to conceive offspring. It is not an exaggeration to say that it is as difficult as reaching the sky. The strength of the bloodline, although accompanied by an increase in combat power, however, the strong bloodline and cultivation can also make it difficult to conceive offspring. Therefore, after learning that she was pregnant, Nuwa, apart from the initial confusion and fright, all that remains is the care and anticipation for the birth of this new life. However, with a strong bloodline and an increase in cultivation, it means that she will have a long time to conceive a child. Although 2 yuan meetings have passed, there is still no movement in this newborn child. However, she is not in a hurry either. She chats and chats with the child in her belly every day, and living this peaceful life is still pretty good. In the past, although she often spoke to the child in her womb, she did not receive any response. But today, this gave birth to 2 Yuan Hui babies and gave birth to their own consciousness. And, deeply suppressed by Nuwa's words at this moment, in the belly of Nuwa, a small baby opened its eyes and looked around at its surroundings. But obviously, as he was still in his infancy, he couldn't see anything, only a gray and hazy scene. Although he couldn't see it, he could hear Nuwa's words. Honghuang. Fuxi. I have become the child of Nuwa. Listening to the gentle words from the outside world, Lin Feng's face froze for a moment. How could he never have imagined that he, who died suddenly in his previous life, had now crossed into the wilderness? And she has also become the child that Nuwa is currently giving birth to. Who is Nuwa? In my previous life, I'm afraid everyone knew this. The Holy Mother of the human race, the saint of heaven, and the disciple of the Taoist ancestors. Any identity taken out is a presence that can crush the world. And now Lin Feng has become the child of Wa. Anyway, my current identity is pretty good. After regaining his senses, Lin Feng breathed a sigh of relief. To say who is the best heir to choose in the midst of adversity, he couldn't think of anyone else besides Wa. Whether it's the witch, the deity, or the journey to the west, being by Wa's side is at least safe. No, this place is not what it used to be. Thinking of this, Lin Feng quickly shook his head. This vast and boundless wilderness, even the great supernatural beings are unknown. And I don't know how my arrival will change history. In this dangerous and desolate world, it is still one's own strong strength that is the king's way. Although he first arrived in this world, Lin Feng had already thought of the future. This is a situation where disasters occur frequently and are often irreversible. If there's a carelessness, don't talk about yourself, maybe Wa can't protect herself either. Thinking of this, Lin Feng frowned tightly. Although his background is also good. But in the wilderness, it's about following one's own bloodline. Even though he is a traveler, he knows the future development, but he is always a second generation. Such an identity is impressive, but far inferior to those innate gods. It seems that in the future, it's better to keep a low profile. Lin Feng sighed helplessly. This is also something that cannot be done, the bloodline of one's feet determines everything. Although there is a strong mother, one cannot be too flamboyant in this vast wilderness. After all, this is a wasteland, the water is too deep, and just as Lin Feng was planning to keep a low profile in the future, a soft noise echoed deep in his mind. Ding, check.in system binding. The check.in system is successfully bound, and the host can sign in anywhere. Signing in will earn rewards. The reward obtained depends on the location of check.in. Upon hearing the sound in his mind, Lin Feng's furrowed brow was instantly replaced by surprise. Sure enough. Golden fingers may be late, but they will never be absent. The robustness of the check.in system goes without saying, as long as you sign in, you can continuously become stronger. Low heels. Difficulty in cultivation. No accompanying spirit treasures. In front of the check.in system, everything will not be an obstacle. My mother is Wa, my uncle is Fushi, and I carry a system. In this way, even in times of adversity, I have no fear at all. Lin Feng, overjoyed, clenched his small fist and swung forward fiercely. It seems like this is the way to vent the excitement in your heart. But at this moment, ouch. In Fengqi Mountain, Wa covered her belly, her beautiful face revealing a look of pain and joy. Chapter 2. Hongjun becomes a sage. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. In the wilderness, time is the least valuable thing. Like yesterday, thousands of years have passed in the blink of an eye. Outside the Fengqi Mountain in Nua's dojo, a stream of light steadily fell from the depths of the sky outside the gate. Like a familiar car, this man dressed in green, although dusty, carried a joyful expression on his face. The innate formation outside the door of the fingertip pinching technique has already opened a gateway. Sister, my brother has returned. Is my nephew okay? Before the person arrived, the excited voice had already arrived. And this person, who has assimilated with Wa and accompanied her for countless years, is also Fu Shi. Fu Shi and Wa have been together ever since their business acquaintance. Whether it was practicing or traveling, Fu Shi took great care of his younger sister. After learning about his sister's pregnancy, his excitement was no less than that of Wa. Previously, he had always cared for Wa in every way possible. After Wa became pregnant, not to mention traveling through the wilderness, even practicing enlightenment, he did not let Wa overwork. Although his nephew has not yet been born, he has also given a lot of care. All kinds of spiritual plants and fruits, as long as he has them, are all refined by Wa. It's nothing else, just to make this nephew's bloodline stronger. And he went out for tens of thousands of years precisely to search for those genius treasures. So that my nephew can have a good heel foundation, big brother, you're back. Upon hearing the sound, Nyuwa finished her cultivation and walked out of the cave. Seeing the bustling Fushi in the distance, a faint smile appeared on her face. My elder brother is very caring for this nephew. How about younger sister? What changes have happened these days? In just one step, Fushi came to the side of Nyuwa, looking at his slightly swollen belly, his face also asked with anticipation. Hee. Nyuwa caressed her belly and her beautiful face showed a loving maternal radiance with a smile, saying, everything is okay, it's just that this little guy is a bit mischievous. Since this little one gave birth to spiritual consciousness, her good days have come to an end. Every now and then, my stomach fluctuates. Although it's not very painful, the taste is not good either. However, even so, she did not blame at all, and instead, at that time, her smile became even stronger. Because it represents that one's child is becoming increasingly powerful. Ha ha ha. Upon hearing these words, Fushi was immediately overjoyed. My nephew is still so lively before he was born, okay, ha ha ha. Fushi's laughter echoed throughout the world. There is nothing more joyful than the birth of spiritual consciousness by my nephew. At this moment, Lin Feng in Nyuwa's belly was full of tears and laughter. He didn't mean to do it either, but often, just some small actions will make Nyuwa clearly perceive. Mother and son are connected, even more so when in the womb. Sister, I have gained a lot from my brother's travels this time. Remember to refine these things in a timely manner. After laughing a few words, Fushi waved his hand and a large amount of rare spiritual fruits appeared in mid-air. For a moment, the misty light covered this world. What can make Fushi, who is in the realm of the great Luo Golden Immortal, interested in? Every spiritual fruit is a rare good thing. Big brother, there are enough of these things. Let's rest for a while at the dojo this time. Looking at the spiritual materials in this place, Nyuwa couldn't help but show a hint of gratitude on her face. Although Fushi didn't say it, she knew that these spiritual talents were hard-won. There are many great powers in this world. Although it is said that those who have a chance to win the genius treasure will ultimately depend on whose fist is bigger. Lin Feng, who is still in his belly, can also see things outside during these days. When he saw the numerous genius treasures, his heart also warmed. He understood that these things were all prepared by Fushi for him. Sister, I can't rest yet. I have received news that there is a top-grade spiritual fruit near Kunlun Mountain that is about to ripen. I will take one and come to guard my nephew no later. Without saying much, Fushi didn't stay in the dojo for long before turning around and leaving. In order to have a good companion for his nephew, he also fought hard seeing Fushi leave, and Nyuwa didn't delay either. She put away those rare spiritual fruits and turned around to step into the cave again. After being refined by her, these things will eventually become nutrients for Lin Feng. Transformed into the purest spiritual energy of heaven and earth, to nourish the spiritual consciousness of the body. Time flies, and thousands of years pass by in a blink of an eye. For thousands of years, in the vast wilderness, it is just a small wave stirred up on the sea, not at all inconspicuous. But one day, 10,000 years later, a loud voice shattered the tranquility of the flood and famine. Lying tall with 9 layers of clouds, the way is true. The world is dark and yellow outside, and I will be the leader of the sect. Pangu gave birth to Tai Chi, following the principles of 2E and 4 Xiang. The leader of the Xianmen capital, one breath transforms Hongjun. I am Hongjun, now a saint. 3,000 years later, in the 33rd day outside of the Purple Sky Palace, I will preach the great way. Those who have faith can come and listen. The vast and eternal voice is filled with supreme authority. The majesty of becoming a saint has made countless creatures in the wilderness fall to the ground. Chapter 3. Snatching Pudding in the Purple Sky Palace. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. After Hongjun's voice echoed through the wilderness, countless creatures were boiling. They may not know what kind of existence a saint is. But that terrifying aura that can crush the heavens and earth, no one can forget. The terrifying figure said, "If you miss it, you're really a fool." Therefore, countless creatures began to fly towards the Purple Sky Palace 33 days away. However, it is obvious that these people underestimated the meaning of Hongjun's phrase, destined person. Only a few can safely enter chaos and see the Purple Sky Palace Fengqi Mountain. After hearing the words of Hongjun announcing the flood, Lin Feng did not expect that Hongjun had just begun his first preaching. But that's not the point. The key is that my mother, Nuwa, is finally going out. Moreover, it's better to go to the most mysterious Zixiao Palace in the wilderness. What terror reward will be signed in then? Just thinking about it, Lin Feng felt a strong sense of anticipation. After hearing Hongjun's words, Nuwa didn't hesitate and immediately set off. Although pregnant, she is unwilling to take risks. The sage preached that it was a great opportunity. For those who strive for the Tao, one should take the lead step by step. If one misses a step, then one should seize the opportunity first. To establish a safe environment for one's own children, only strong strength is necessary. Nuwa still saw this very clearly. The wilderness is vast, the earth is boundless, and the sky is boundless. Even with the cultivation of Nuwa Daoyuo Jingxian, it took thousands of years to reach the Zixiao Palace. Although the chaotic earth, wind, water and fire were terrifying, it was obvious that these things could not stop her. The Luo Jin Xian, no matter in which era, it is a powerful endorsement word. In front of Zixiao Palace, a rich Taoist charm is condensed and never dispersed, surrounded by 3,000 great roads. The auspicious glow surrounds billions of miles, colorful clouds drift, and immortal energy is steaming. After all, it is a dojo for saints. In this place, even outside the door, one can feel the slow increase in cultivation. After arriving here, Nuwa found that many people were already there. The Zenyuanzi of Wudao Temple, the Hongmeng of Huiyan Cave, the Kunpeng of Beihai Land, the ancient ancestor of the underworld Blood Sea, the Sanxian of Kunlun, and its neighbor, the Queen Mother of the West. Wait and wait, many great gods are practicing with their eyes closed. After all, this is a good place. Only the red clouds, surrounded by a few people laughing. His social circle is very extensive, and he has always been referred to as a kind-hearted person, which doesn't seem strange. Upon seeing this, Nuwa did not join in the fun, but instead looked at the two boys in front of the door and smiled, saying, "Two little friends, I wonder when this Zixiao Palace will open. I have met my senior, and it will be 500 years before I can start." Haotian and Yao Qi looked at Nuwa in front of them and said nervously. At this time, they were not yet the heavenly emperor and queen mother of later generations, whether in terms of knowledge or cultivation. Therefore, when I saw a great Luo Jingxian approaching to inquire, I couldn't help but feel a little nervous. "Thank you very much." Nuwa smiled and waved her hand, giving her 2 spiritual fruits. Then she turned around and sat aside to practice. Now that her brother Fuxi has not arrived yet, she has no intention of talking to anyone else, simply start practicing here. At this moment, Lin Feng, who was still in his belly, kept looking outside. The people present at this moment, although some may not be well known, will all be famous figures in the future. Demon Emperor, Sanxian Sect Leader, Di Zhu Zhen Yuanzi, Demon Master Kunpeng. As long as it is present, there is no simple 500 years passed in an instant. 3,000 years have passed. Brothers and gentlemen, please come in. With a soft drink, Haotian and Yao Qi opened the door to Zixiao Palace. They don't care who arrived or who didn't. When it's time, they'll open the door. "Sister, let's go in." In 3,000 years, Fuxi also arrived at the Zixiao Palace and reunited with Nuwa. Such a great opportunity, no one will give up easily. "Okay, big brother, let's go." Nyuwa responded and then walked towards the palace with Fu Shi. Zixiao Palace, as a Taoist temple for saints, is far from as simple as it seems. Entering this palace is like entering a brand new world. One flower, one world, one wood, one sand. Seemingly not a long distance, but hidden in the universe. And as soon as everyone entered the palace, their expressions froze. In front of the palace, there are numerous cattails. Among these cattails, there are 6 most prominent positions. These 6 positions are not only more advanced, but also full of Taoist charm. With just one glance, it can be seen that there is a hidden opportunity above this pussy. And after seeing this scene, many great powers rose up with a towering aura. The opportunity left by the sage, no one will miss it. The fastest is undoubtedly the Sanxian Taoist transformed by the Panga Yuanshan. Its origin is the same, with high and deep cultivation, and clear energy condensed and rippled, instantly increasing one's speed. In just an instant, it occupied the 3 most advanced positions ahead. The crowd behind them looked even more violent. The 3-legged golden crow of Sun Star, with 1 or 2 Emperor Juntai players, is very fast and vaguely occupies the leading position. And then came Nyuwa and Fu Shi. Upon seeing this scene, Fu Shi's expression was solemn. With a wave of his hand, a powerful magical force struck behind Nyuwa. "Sister, go quickly, otherwise this futon won't be able to take up." Without any hesitation, Nyuwa felt the powerful thrust behind her. Between biting teeth, the magic moves at lightning speed, and the speed also increases instantly. In just an instant, he had already surpassed the Emperor Jun and Tai in front of him. Thus, occupying the 4th position. Emperor Jun and Taiyi's face changed when they saw the situation, and they were about to move towards the 2 nearby positions, but it was also too late. Upon seeing Fu Shi's movements, Jin Yuanzi's expression moved. "I know that if I sit down with my old friend Hongyun, there may not be any chance." So, he also imitated Fu Shi and slapped Hongyun on the back with one palm. "Old friend, hurry up." After seeing the rapid increase of red cloud speed and occupying the 5th putuan, a smile appeared on Jin Yuanzi's face. "Although I didn't have the chance to sit in this position, it wasn't a loss, at least my friend Hongyun went up." And when the others present saw this, their expressions became even crazier and they turned towards the last position. But at this moment, a Taoist with a cold and stern expression, carrying a hint of coldness, instantly sat in 6th place. And this person is the Kunpeng ancestor of the North Sea. Kunpeng's strength may not be the strongest here, but its speed is unmatched by anyone else. He already has extreme speed in his palm, and with a single shake of his wings, he can soar up to 90,000 miles. Its speed is so terrifying that even the 2 golden stars of the Sun Star are slightly behind. At this point, all 6 positions have been taken by the master. Others saw the situation, although their expressions were unwilling, they were also helpless. In front of the sage's door, they dare not be reckless. "My strength is not as good as others, I can only suppress my envy and sit elsewhere." At this moment, Lin Feng did not feel any surprise when he saw such a situation. These 6 positions may seem to be based on their own abilities, but in fact, they are all predetermined. Even if it's an unrelated person, they are lucky and occupy a piece of land. The overwhelming causality contained in it is not something that ordinary people can bear. But these are not important. What's important is that he can finally sign in. Chapter 4. Zixiao Palace Attendance, Hongmeng Creation Sutra. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After seeing Nyuwa sit down, Lin Feng immediately recited excitedly in his heart. "System, sign in to Zixiao Palace Tianding Saint Putuan. Ding, congratulations on the successful host check that IN. Sign in to the Purple Sky Palace and reward the Hongmeng Creation Sutra with the Heavenly Saint Putuan. Hongmeng Creation, the power of cultivating laws, forging the holy body of the Tao, seizing the creation of heaven and earth, Hongmeng Zhuan, 1 Zhuan Tianxian, 2 Zhuan Jinxian, 3 Zhuan Xianxian, 4 Zhuan Jinxian, 5 Zhuan Tai Jinxian, 6 Zhuan Daoyuo Jinxian, 7 Zhuan Hunyuan Jinxian, 8 Zhuan Hunyuan Daoyuo Jinxian, 9 Zhuan Gi Hunyuan Wuji Avenue. Boom! As the sound fell, a mysterious technique full of the profound meaning of the Tao suddenly appeared in Lin Feng's mind. After fully realizing the martial arts in his mind, Lin Feng couldn't help but marvel at the power of this technique. The road to becoming a saint has been cut off in the vast wilderness where the Tao retreats and the heavenly way is empty. To become a saint, one can only rely on the Hongmeng Purple Qi in Hongjun's hand. There is no other way. Although beheading 3 corpses and comprehending the law can prove the Tao, who has ever achieved this in the vast wilderness of the Great Way's retreat? Among these endless creatures, there is only a great fortune. Moreover, it was through the shattered treasure of chaos, the creation of the jade butterfly, that the sage was achieved. Hongjun is like this, as other people can imagine. However, the newly obtained Hongmeng Creation Sutra can achieve this. Even more than that. After the 9 transformations of Hongmeng and their unification, that is the strength of Hunyuan Wuji Avenue. Moreover, what one cultivates and comprehends are all the laws of the Tao. Even if you become a saint, you don't have to be constrained by this heavenly way. It can be said that although it was just a martial arts technique, it gave Lin Feng the qualification to step onto the pinnacle. Lin Feng is organizing his gains. As time passed, everyone had already finished sitting and was waiting for the sage to speak. And the gate of Zixiao Palace is also slowly closing. Just then, a sudden cry came from a distance. "Child, please be slow, child, please be slow. The journey of the 2 of us in the west is far away and we arrived late." As the sound fell, 2 streams of light flashed away from outside the purple sky palace. In just an instant, it had already arrived inside the palace. Seeing the 2 people arriving, everyone present couldn't help but twitch at the corners of their mouths. These 2 people are extremely familiar to each other, and the phrase, "this thing is destined for me," resounds throughout the vast eastern land. The people present have all suffered some losses to some extent. After all, the thick skin of these 2 people is breathtaking. Fortunately, these 2 people are not weak in strength, otherwise they would have been killed countless times by others. And at this moment, Lin Feng, after seeing everyone here, I didn't know what came to my mind, and my expression gradually became strange. Next, it should be. Zhuanti led the 2 of them to the front of Zixiao Palace. Looking at the cattails around in front, they were all fully seated. Moreover, in front of the sage, there were 6 cattails, which were even more eye-catching. Although they were later, it was also evident at a glance that these 6 catties had a great chance. "So, Wu, senior brother, you and I have come from the west, and due to the long journey, we have only arrived now. But now there's not even a seat available." Zhuanti looked at the crowd in front of him and burst into tears, as if feeling extremely aggrieved. Listening sad, those who hear it shed tears, but that's all. On the other hand, Jane, upon hearing Zhuanti's words, had already a distressed expression on his face and cried even more tragically. "Wu, junior brother. You and I have come from the west, seeking the way to confuse sentient beings. We have worked hard to come here, but there is no place to settle. If you can't hear the teachings of the Taoist ancestor clearly, what face do you and I have? Go see my Western spirits." Watching the 2 Western people wailing and crying, everyone present in the Zixiao Palace twitched slightly at the corners of their mouths. They know that these 2 Westerners have deep facial expressions, but how dare they do so in the sage dojo? This is why the 2 Westerners would never have been able to do such a thing if they were them. They are all innate abilities that value their own appearance immensely. How could one lose face for the sake of a mere futuan? In their eyes, this is an incredible thing. At this moment, Zhuanti led the 2 of them and watched them cry for a long time, but none of the people present moved. So, a hint of cruelty flashed in Zhuanti's eyes, and he cried sadly on his face. I am already impoverished and have very few opportunities in the West. If I can't hear the sage's teachings clearly, I might as well die. As soon as the words fell, Zhuan-Ting's figure moved and he was about to collide with the jade pillar beside him. Junior brother, why bother so much? Jian was also crying loudly on the side, wiping tears from the corners of his eyes, but he did not stop Zhuan-Ti's actions. Although they were acting, what they said was true. They in the West, during the struggle of the demonic way, were ignited by the demon ancestor Luo Gui's Western lineage. Not to mention the significant decrease in spiritual energy, the Western land is filled with scars. All kinds of spiritual plants and treasures are not visible at all in the West. Compared to the East, various opportunities are even worse. That's also why he and Zhuan-Ti, facing the opportunity, have such a thick face. There is no way, they are really poor, and they will not easily fall behind any chance. What is a face compared to the chance of becoming stronger and the powerful West? At this moment, Lin Feng, upon seeing this farce, also showed a funny expression on his face. I heard it's one thing, but seeing it with my own eyes is another thing. As an innate ability, being able to be so shameless in front of many fellow disciples, it has to be said that this can also be considered a skill. There is a reason why the two Westerners ultimately became saints just as Zhuan-Ti was about to collide with the jade pillar, a soft drink suddenly rang out. The two Taoist friends are not just here, they are just a handful. How could they be searching for life and death? I will give up my position to the Taoist friends. Red Cloud Ancestor looked at the crying Western couple and couldn't help but stand up to persuade them. Chapter 5. The Tragic Kunpeng Ancestor. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The people present were all stunned when they saw Red Cloud stand up. The greatest good person in the wilderness, as the name suggests, is indeed the person. The opportunity in front of this sage's door is to say no and not to. Old friend, you. And when Red Cloud's friend Jin Yuanzi saw this scene, he couldn't help but change his expression and wanted to speak out to dissuade him. At first glance, this Putuan had a great opportunity. He even gave up his own destiny and helped Hongjun. How could he give in so much? It's just a clump of dough. Red Cloud waved his hand and smiled indifferently, then stood up. And Jian, who was crying, immediately showed a surprised expression on his face when he saw Hongjun stand up. The expression on his face, which was originally full of suffering and misery, instantly disappeared. And his figure, as soon as Hongjun stood up, disappeared and sat on the cushion. Thank you very much, my friend Hongjun. After sitting down, he looked at the Red Cloud beside him and bowed in gratitude. After a brief thank you, his gaze turned to the few people beside him. I already have a position, but my junior brother is still standing on the side. This is not acceptable, I need to find a place for my junior brother. His gaze turned towards Sanxian ahead, and he suddenly shook his head secretly in his heart. He knows the reputation of Sanxian, not only is his strength strong, but it's not easy to match him just because he is a treasure of merit. His two brothers can't afford to provoke him. And the next Nuwa made his eyebrows furrow. Nuwa is a great choice, but ultimately she is a lesbian. His position was not upright, and if he drove Nuwa down and caused public anger, it would be bad. In this way, then there is only one last choice left. As he looked towards the last position, Kunpeng, who was meditating with his eyes closed, suddenly had a cold light in his eyes. Hey, you're just a wet, egg-like, furry and horned person. How can you be matched with me to sit on the same level? Hurry up and get out of here, give up your seat with my junior brother. As soon as these words were spoken, Kunpeng's face instantly turned ugly. He didn't expect to be found by these two people even though he was sitting well here. However, before Kunpeng could speak, Emperor Juntai and Fushi Nuwa beside him all snorted coldly. Wet spawning and egg turning, wearing hair and horns, isn't this also cursing oneself? This is also in the Sage Dojo, they dare not do anything. If it were outside, I wouldn't say I had done it before. Therefore, when they look at the approaching gaze, they all become unfriendly. It's a bit bad. Jian Zhuan-Ti's face changed, but he didn't expect such a consequence to be caused by just one sentence. But now that the matter has come to an end, they cannot give up and can only grit their teeth. But fortunately, at this moment, Yuqing Yuan, one of the three pure ones, couldn't help but nod and say, the wet-spawning and egg-transforming generation is really not worthy of sitting on the same level as me. As one of the three cleans, the Pangdi Yuanshan was transformed, and Yuansher was extremely proud. I have always looked down upon those who are wet and egg-like. Upon hearing this, Tong Tian frowned and felt somewhat displeased with what Yuansher had said. But after all, he is his second brother, and it's not easy for him to speak out to save face, so he has no words. At this moment, Kunpeng's face changed and his mind was slightly shaken upon hearing Yuansher's words. What? In this sage dojo, you want to do another one? Ah. Kunpeng's words were interrupted halfway through. Originally, it was Zhuanti who took in the two of them. When they saw Kunpeng's mind feeling a bit lost, they immediately took action and swept him off the putuan. And Zhuanti, after Kunpeng fell, instantly replaced it and sat up. Wait. Wait, okay, my ancestor has taken note of this matter. Kunpeng's face was icy cold, making it difficult to see the extreme. He had the intention of snatching back the cattail, but after all, he was weak and had no choice but to give up. However, in his heart, he completely hated these two Westerners. Not only that, his gaze turned to the red clouds beside him, and a cold light flickered in his eyes. If it weren't for this idiot Hongjun, how could he have been snatched away from his seat? He kept this cause and effect in mind, waiting for it to be settled in the future. And just after Kunpeng sat down with an unwilling expression, an old Taoist with an ancient face quietly appeared on the cloud bed ahead. We have seen saints before. After seeing this person, all the people in the Purple Sky Palace bowed respectfully. Hongjun nodded at the words and then glanced at the few people in the 6 seats before calmly saying. This preaching will last for 3,000 years, and in the future, this seat cannot be changed arbitrarily. Obey the name of the sage. All the people present responded in unison. Only Kunpeng's face on the side was gloomy and watery, and it seemed that he couldn't snatch this seat back after finishing his words. Hongjun didn't say much and immediately began to explain the Tao. There is a mixture of things, born naturally. Silent and lonely, independent yet unchanged, able to travel around without danger, can be the mother of heaven and earth. I don't know its name, but the strong character is Tao. Strong is called great. Great is fleeting, fleeting is distant, and distant is rebellious. Therefore, the way is great, the sky is great, the earth is great, and people are also great. There are 4 major domains, but one of them is human habitation. People follow the earth follows the sky follows the Tao, and the Tao follows nature. The sage's preaching is like the highest principles of heaven and earth, with various visions constantly rising up. Purple air blocks the sky and sun, the sky is in chaos, and the ground is filled with golden lotus flowers. The auspicious mist sprays purple mist, and the golden path rolls with red clouds. The rich and unchanging Taoist charm instantly embraced all the people in the Purple Sky Palace. In the past, under the guidance of the sages, the profound principles of the heavenly way that had never been fully understood instantly became easy to understand. Among the 3,000 guests in the Zixiao Palace, the most prominent one is still the 6 people at the forefront. Sanxian, as the primordial deity of Pangu, is one of the best beings in this world in terms of both strength and understanding. Not long after the sage began preaching, the clear air in the sky had already spread. The 3 channels of Qingqi, although different from one person, have the same origin. Between the compatibility of clear qi, a powerful momentum instantly rises. The progress of cultivation is a rapid increase visible to the naked eye. The people present saw this scene with envy in their eyes. This is the advantage of being strong with one's feet. They haven't realized anything yet, but Sanxian has almost fallen into an epiphany. Although Sanxian is strong, the few people sitting in the front are not bad either. The two golden crows of the sun star, 1 or 2 Emperor Juntai, also have the same origin in strong strength. The scorching sun's true fire surrounds it, and the true meaning of the path of fire constantly rises in it. And while the West is shameless in bringing in 2 people, their powerful followers and strength cannot be underestimated. Under the shining Buddha light in the sky, the 2 individuals, who were originally looking desolate and full of wealth, flashed a hint of solemnity. Obviously, under the preaching of the sages, there is also a fruitful harvest. But among the 6 people at the forefront of this position, Nu Wa, who was originally the least active, gradually revealed her terrifying vision. Or rather, it was all caused by Lin Feng's unintentional realization of the Hongmeng Creation and Transformation Classic, P.S. Chapter 5 Kneeling for a flower, kneeling for a monthly pass, kneeling for an evaluation ticket. If you like it, please support me. The data from the first day is really important. Thank you very much. Kneeling for a flower, an evaluation ticket, a month. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Newcomer's new book, I hope everyone can support it freely. Everyone knows that data is really important for a new book. Free flowers, monthly passes, review tickets, and even determine whether a new book can be written. Mengxin dare not expect any tips from the big shots, but only hopes that the big shots can send flowers, monthly tickets, evaluation tickets, etc., which can make the author more motivated to code characters. As long as there is a refresh, there are no flowers, no review tickets, no monthly tickets, and even no comments. This makes the author feel really uncomfortable, extremely uncomfortable, and even breaks the defense for a while. Whether it's a flower, an evaluation ticket, or a monthly ticket, as long as the big shots vote, these are all recognition and encouragement for the author's reputation here. The author hopes that all the experts can support him. Her new book, Kneeling for Flowers, monthly pass, evaluation ticket. Please. Kneeling down for a flower, an evaluation ticket, a monthly ticket, if any, update immediately. Kneeling down for a flower, an evaluation ticket, a monthly ticket, if any, update immediately. Newcomer's new book, I hope everyone can support it freely. Everyone knows that data is really important for a new book. Free flowers, monthly passes, review tickets, and even determine whether a new book can be written. Mengxin dare not expect any tips from the big shots, but only hopes that the big shots can send flowers, monthly tickets, evaluation tickets, etc., which can make the author more motivated to code characters. As long as there is a refresh, there are no flowers, no review tickets, no monthly tickets, and even no comments. This makes the author feel really uncomfortable, extremely uncomfortable, and even breaks the defense for a while. Whether it's a flower, an evaluation ticket, or a monthly ticket, as long as the big shots vote, these are all recognition and encouragement for the author's reputation here. The author hopes that all the experts can support him. Her new book, Kneeling for Flowers, monthly pass, evaluation ticket. Please. Kneeling down for a flower, an evaluation ticket, a monthly ticket, if any, update immediately. Kneeling down for a flower, an evaluation ticket, a monthly ticket, if any, update immediately. Newcomer's new book, I hope everyone can support it freely. Everyone knows that data is really important for a new book. Free flowers, monthly passes, review tickets, and even determine whether a new book can be written. Mengxin dare not expect any tips from the big shots, but only hopes that the big shots can send flowers, monthly tickets, evaluation tickets, etc., which can make the author more motivated to code characters. As long as there is a refresh, there are no flowers, no review tickets, no monthly tickets, and even no comments. This makes the author feel really uncomfortable, extremely uncomfortable, and even breaks the defense for a while. Whether it's a flower, an evaluation ticket, or a monthly ticket, as long as the big shots vote, these are all recognition and encouragement for the author's reputation here. The author hopes that all the experts can support him. Her new book, Kneeling for Flowers, monthly pass, evaluation ticket. Please. Kneeling down for a flower, an evaluation ticket, a monthly ticket, if any, update immediately. Kneeling down for a flower, an evaluation ticket, a monthly ticket, if any, update immediately. Chapter 6. Beyond the three clearings and suddenly realizing the abyss, Hongjun Road. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. 33 days away, inside the Purple Cloud Palace. At this moment, all the people in the Purple Sky Palace were tightly closed in their eyes, devoting themselves to comprehending the Taoist teachings. The sage preaches that no one is willing to waste time on such rare opportunities. All the hearts and minds are immersed in the boundless Tao rhyme. Even at the beginning, they envied the sudden realization of Sanxian and others, but it was only a moment. Although their followers may not be able to catch up with the front few, since they can come to this Purple Sky Palace, it indicates that their followers have a decent bloodline. Therefore, within a short period of time, they all fell into an epiphany. But at this moment, Nuwa, who was in the midst of an epiphany, exuded boundless auspiciousness all over her body. The rolling purple air has already submerged Nuwa. Blossoming golden lotus wreaths quietly bloom in this Purple Sky Palace. The rich Taoist charm, like the sea, fluctuates in this Purple Sky Palace. Even those in the midst of enlightenment have benefited greatly. In that rich Taoist rhyme, one's body is also rapidly increasing in Taoist magical powers. And this is just the outward spreading charm of Nuwa, and its central location is even more terrifying. However, not only that. On the vast and desolate continent, the once boundless azure sky now blooms with countless radiance. Purple air comes from the east for 30,000 miles, the sky is in chaos, and the earth is filled with golden lotus flowers. Amidst 1,000 layers of red mist, fluttering thousands of colorful clouds, blooming with flowers and herbs, clouds and terraces on the sun and earth, mediating nature, and 3,000 paths of Dharma manifestation during those 30.3 days, there were countless creatures who had never stepped over the earth's membranes and entered chaos. They are not lacking in strength, nor are they lacking in spiritual treasures. Therefore, no one dares to step into chaos and search for the sage's dojo. But even so, they are not willing to withdraw from it. The sage preached that although they did not have the opportunity to go outside of this chaos, they also hoped to see something. And just as they were chatting, a cry of surprise suddenly rang out. So, what kind of thing is that? Many creatures who heard the sound were stunned at the words, and then when they turned their heads to look, their pupils suddenly tightened. In the depths of that chaos, an endless purple aura surged in an instant, accompanied by the sky filled with golden lotus wreaths. Who exactly caused this terrifying anomaly? I have practiced for thousands of years, but I have never seen such auspiciousness before. It must have been caused by the great power in the sage dojo, I don't know who. After a brief moment of silence, the numerous creatures present suddenly erupted into a deafening roar. They showed a look of envy and awe on their faces. This terrifying vision, even though they have existed for a long time, is still the first time they have seen it. From a glimpse of the leopard, one could only see a terrifying vision, and it was evident that the cultivator who could trigger such a scale must be extremely powerful. But to no avail, they could only take a distant glance at the edge of this chaos. The scene in Zixiao Palace, they have never had the chance to see it in their lifetime. However, the scope of the spread of this anomaly is far beyond that. In the vast expanse of the world, from the east to the west, any living creature in this vast expanse can be seen through a vision. The numerous creatures looked up at the sky with a look of awe on their faces. They are really hard to imagine. What a great power it will be to make this terrifying vision cover the entire wilderness. At the same time, Nuwa in the Zixiao Palace had no idea how much sensation she had caused. It can also be said that Lin Feng, who was in the belly of Nuwa, was unaware that the techniques he practiced would cause such a terrifying vision. Lin Feng, after obtaining the Hongmeng Creation and Transformation Classic, although he knew the power of this technique. He is not one of those innate gods, and in his divine consciousness, he has his own inheritance. But at this point, the system's strength is highlighted. The Hongmeng Creation Sutra, such a profound cultivation method, requires endless years of understanding and cannot truly comprehend its true meaning in order to get started. But with the assistance of the system, the endless truth of heaven and earth constantly appeared in the depths of Lin Feng's spiritual consciousness. Just like one's own inheritance, understanding it is like a fish in water. But coincidentally, this time it happened to coincide with Hongjun's first preaching. This first sermon is about the most fundamental part of a cultivator's cultivation. From existence to non-existence, from shallow to deep, the explanation is extremely detailed. And Lin Feng's talent, under the endless spiritual nurturing of Nuwa and Fuxi, was also extremely strong. Not long after hearing this, I stepped into an epiphany. The already smooth progress of the Hongmeng Creation and Transformation Sutra has been confirmed one by one through Hongjun's preaching, and its cultivation speed has become even faster. And those terrifying visions were also caused by his first cultivation. Even though Lin Feng had already read the Hongmeng Creation and Transformation classic very well, the terror of this technique was far beyond his imagination. The flood and chaos arise from chaos, and chaos arises from the vastness of the world. Can the cultivation techniques created during the Hongmeng period be simple? Even during that period, its profound cultivation was extremely powerful, let alone in this vast wilderness. Therefore, just as we stepped into the threshold, heaven and earth had already responded, and the multitude of auspicious signs appeared one after another at this time. The purple sky palace was already filled with various auspicious signs. However, everyone present was immersed in their own cultivation, so they never saw it. However, Hongjun, who sat high on the cloud bed, had a panoramic view of all of this. Strange, why did such a strange phenomenon arise from Nuwa's body? Hongjun looked around Nuwa, and even he felt a terrifying aura, which made his face look surprised. He is not unfamiliar with Nuwa. Or rather, he was extremely familiar with the 6 people above the 6 cattails in front of him. Whether it's Sanxian or Western Zhuantijian. These people, in the dark, already have a deep causal relationship with him. Under the guidance of the heavenly way, these 6 people are destined to become his disciples. Sanxian's footsteps are terrifying, which is transformed by Pangu's primordial spirit and will become his own disciple. And although Nuwa couldn't keep up with Sanxian, she could still be passed down as her own in the future with great fortune. As for the 2 Westerners, he will also accept them as disciples, but only by name. And what this is doing is just to make up for the causality owed to the West. What made him feel strange was, among these 6 people, Sanxian's footwork ability is the most profound, and his understanding of Taoism should be the most advanced. But now it seems that even if Sanxian is added together, there is still no terrifying vision exhibited by Nuwa alone. This made him a bit puzzled. Nuwa's footwork is just about the same as the 2 Westerners. But why did this scene occur? Chapter 7. Lin Feng cultivates the Hongmeng Creation Sutra, which vibrates. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. As time slowly passed, the Zixiao Palace remained quiet. Only the endless auspiciousness envelopes everyone present. Although Hongjun was puzzled, it was not yet the time to investigate these things. This preaching lasted for 3,000 years, and less than 1,000 years have passed. He still needs to continue preaching. However, it is said to have been preaching for 3,000 years, but there are very few who can hear it for 3,000 years. The difference in blood vessels along the feet also creates differences in spiritual perception and comprehension. Some creatures, upon hearing about 1,500 years, have slowly awakened from that epiphany. It's not that they don't want to continue to comprehend. But rather, the Taoist teachings that were comprehended during this lecture have exceeded the limits they can accommodate. Therefore, after waking up, they can only envy the creatures still in the process of enlightenment. The longer one has an epiphany, the more terrifying the divine powers and Taoist methods they comprehend. They all understand this in their hearts. And one more thing, it can be seen whether the living beings in the process of enlightenment are strong enough to comprehend the Taoist and divine powers. That is the illusion surrounding the living beings. That kind of anomaly is not only visually appealing, but also reflects whether its profound divine powers and Taoist techniques are powerful. As more and more people became sober, they were deeply shocked by the scene before them. Around those three clearances, a clear aura surged up into the sky, as if covering the vast universe of stars. Among them, there are scenes from the time of creation that constantly flash by. Its powerful power can be felt even from a distance. Not to mention the Sanxian transformed by Pange Yuanshan, its terrifying vision far surpasses ours. That Sanxian, and its depth of expertise is beyond our comparison. I don't know what kind of divine powers and magical methods Sanxian Daoist friends have truly comprehended, which is truly enviable. Gradually waking up, the living beings looked at Sanxian ahead, who was still in an epiphany, with a look of awe on their faces. The name of Sanxian has always been known to them, but their terrifying power now has an intuitive feeling. Although Sanxian is strong, the two of the sun stars are not inferior either. Look! A star-shaped creature pointed towards Emperor Juntai, who was in the process of enlightenment, with a look of envy in his eyes. And when others heard this, they also turned their heads to look. Beside Emperor Juntai, there was a fiery red giant tree towering tens of thousands of zhang. The scorching sun's true fire is constantly surging and burning on it. Two majestic golden crows, sitting on that branch, closed their eyes and meditated. Endless flames envelop it, and the sound of bells rings incessantly, causing ripples in that space. These two brothers are blessed with innate treasures, they really envy me. Oh my treasure, when will you give me an innate spiritual treasure? I will be satisfied. Not to mention anything else, just the power of that precious treasure can dominate the side. Seeing the power of the innate treasure, the sober crowd couldn't help but discuss. The innate thing is the most precious existence in this vast wilderness. Even a congenital inferior spiritual treasure can make people fight to the death. The innate treasure, that is simply an existence that cannot be imagined. Humph, the vision of these two Westerners is so terrifying that they almost fell for it. A monk who achieved enlightenment through divine wood, watching Zhuanti lead the two, sweat dripped from his forehead. I saw only the two Westerners present, and their vision was also impressive. 3,000 Buddhist kingdoms surround it. Endless shamans, devout in prayer. Its profound Buddhist teachings keep ringing, and some with lower cultivation even feel a sense of conversion in their hearts. Just now, this cultivator, who had carefully listened to the mysterious teachings, almost got corrupted. Scared, he quickly gathered his mind and dared not look at anything. At this moment, in the Purple Sky Palace, that kind of strange phenomenon can be described as 100 schools of thought competing and blooming one after another. The crowd present felt a bit overwhelmed. Just then, a slightly frightened voice rang out. You! Look at the place where NUWA is located, what is that? Everyone present was taken aback at the words, not understanding what would make this person so shocked. Curious, they also turned their heads to look. But now, their faces also showed a look of shock. I saw an endless purple energy rising from the place where NUWA was located. The profound and rich Taoist charm covers the world. Even the purple sky palace of this flower world cannot stop the spread of its Taoist charm. And in that purple aura, there were constantly divine flashes. Amidst the changing purple aura, a grey mist appeared, covering the sky and the earth. Emitting a sense of eternal vastness, as if Hongmeng is evolving and chaos is nurturing. After chaos, there is an endless vast continent. On it, creatures are nurtured, disasters emerge, and a cycle repeats itself. And the most terrifying thing is that the vision of Emperor Jun of Sanqing and others, although also powerful. However, compared to what NUWA showed at this time, it was quite different. Because, whether it is the surging clear energy or the burning sun Fusang, they all quickly retreat under the purple energy. It's like there's some great terror in that purple aura. The reason why the people present just now didn't pay attention was because this miraculous purple aura seemed to disappear when they didn't pay attention. But when the mind is immersed, it will discover. In that purple aura, there is actually the profound truth of the changes in heaven and earth, and the mysterious mystery of the alternation of creatures. The vision of everyone present unexpectedly flashed in the purple aura. This terrifying scene immediately caused a great uproar among the people present. How could it be? What is this Nu comprehending? This vision is so terrifying. Is this a Taoist or a divine skill? Even Sanxian and others are far apart. Strange, Nu's feet are not as good as Sanxian's. Why could she display such a terrifying vision? In the Purple Sky Palace, anyone who has regained consciousness will feel uncomfortable and show a look of shock. They couldn't imagine that Nu had truly comprehended something terrifying. Unexpectedly, with the illusion of one person, these great supernatural beings were suppressed under their feet. While everyone present was discussing, Lin Feng, who was still contemplating the Hongmeng Creation Sutra in Nu's womb, had also reached the final step of entering. Chapter 8. Hongjun Surprise, the son of Nu's belly. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Whispering incessantly in the Purple Sky Palace, anyone who was clear-headed looked towards Nu with a shocked expression. But neither Nu nor Lin Feng in her belly had time to care about all of this. Lin Feng sat cross-legged in the belly of Nu, with a mysterious hand print in her hands. Surrounded by Taoist rhymes, endless auspicious Taoist rhymes firmly envelop him. The terrifying scene from the outside world, in the eyes of everyone, is just a little bit revealed from here. If they could see the scenery here, even Hongjun would probably be shocked. At this moment, Lin Feng, surrounded by 3,000 paths, was like the sun of the main road, full of mysterious charm. But now, Lin Feng's cultivation of the Hongmeng Creation Sutra has also reached a critical moment. The terrifying auspiciousness just now was just a reaction to the initial cultivation of Hongmeng's creation. At this moment, he also reached the moment when he officially stepped into the threshold. The initial realm of Hongmeng's creation is the heavenly immortal realm. Although Lin Feng had been in Nu's womb for a long time, he did not practice any martial arts during this period. Fuxi and Nu spent an infinite amount of precious spiritual fruits, and what they valued was not their realm, but their footwork. In the midst of the wilderness, there is nothing more enviable than deep connections. And Lin Feng, after being nurtured by endless precious spiritual materials, has become a decent companion. Nowadays, obtaining the extremely powerful Hongmeng Creation Sutra is by no means as simple as 1 + 1 = 2. Originally, he had no cultivation at all, but after practicing the Hongmeng Creation Sutra and preaching to the Taoist ancestor, his cultivation rapidly skyrocketed. In just 2,000 years in the Purple Sky Palace, his cultivation had reached the pinnacle of the Earth Immortal realm. The distance from the Heavenly Immortal is only one step away. And this step also represents his official start to cultivate the Hongmeng Creation Sutra. The various powerfulness within its scriptures can only be considered as a preliminary manifestation at this moment. At this moment, Lin Feng's hands were imprinted, his face solemn, and the 3,000 paths that manifested around his body were constantly spinning around. The more intense and terrifying Tao rhyme constantly dissipates towards the outside world from here. And inside him, the precious purple spiritual energy was also rapidly moving. In just a short moment, the realm of 2,999 Zhou Tian has already been in operation. 3,000 is perfect, but the speed of this last Sunday's operation clearly slowed down. Although the speed is slow, the spiritual energy full of purple still charges forward with an unstoppable momentum. It's like a moment, it's like 10,000 years have passed, boom. A clear roar could be heard not only by Lin Feng himself, but also by 3,000 guests in the Zixiao Palace. Accompanied by this roar is a purple aura rising from the sky. In the Purple Sky Palace. At this time, 90% of the awakened powers in the Zixiao Palace had already been awakened. And those who have not yet awakened are still in the process of enlightenment, all of which are top-notch abilities. Such as Sanxian, Emperor Juntai, Western Tu, Hongyun, Zenyuanzi, Fushi, and others. These awakened powers are all discussing towards the direction where Nuwa is located. Just now, a strong and terrifying melody emanated from the location of Nuwa towards the outside world. And that already terrifying vision has become even more mysterious and terrifying. This made the great powers present even more shocked, not knowing how Nuwa had truly comprehended such extraordinary Taoist techniques. But just as they were discussing, a roar echoed through the purple sky palace. Everyone present widened their eyes and looked ahead. I saw Nuwa, who was currently practicing, rising from her heavenly spirit with a purple aura full of dignity. When the purple aura reached tens of thousands of zhang and soared into the sky, various auspicious signs followed one after another. The ethereal golden lotus and wreath constantly hover above the purple energy. Accompanied by these are whispers that seem to have come from the past and future. Those voices were filled with awe, but when you listen with your heart, you feel like you can't hear anything. And not only that. On this vast and desolate continent, the originally numerous creatures have regained their senses from the endless auspiciousness. But it's not yet time for them to think more. I saw a purple light rising from the depths of the sky. The purple light was not very bright, but at this moment, the sentient beings in heaven and earth couldn't tolerate anything else in their eyes. It seems that the purple mang is the most dazzling existence in this world at this moment. Hongjun, who was preaching in the Zixiao Palace, could no longer continue. Now, he finally understood why Nuwa, who was not as good as Sanxian, had such a terrifying vision. Looking in his direction, he saw a purple sun shining on the belly of Nuwa. That big day contained terrifying life energy. The strong bloodline shocked even him deeply. He can feel it. The magical power of Nuwa is constantly nurturing that life form. Moreover, in the belly of Nuwa, there is a rich and profound spiritual energy that does not dissolve. That is the rare spiritual material refined by Nuwa in the past, reserved for adding to the living body and keeping it alive. And today, that life has devoured all that terrifying spiritual energy. Its movements have also reached a terrifying level. However, what surprised him even more was what the depths of life represented: variables. These variables actually appear on my disciple. Looking at the baby in Nuwa's belly, Hongjun couldn't help but frown. The Great Way is 50, and the heavenly extension is 40.9. Escaping one of them is a variable. And now that elusive variable has appeared. Nuwa surprisingly became pregnant, and this little guy is also top-notch in terms of intelligence. It's really interesting, really interesting. After a brief moment of contemplation, Hongjun had no plans. In his exploration, the little one still in the womb is bound to have a terrifying future. If you have such a strong foothold before you are born, you will definitely become a powerful figure in the future. P.S. Thank you. QQ_***, thank you very much for the big reward. Seeking a flower, seeking a monthly pass, seeking an evaluation ticket. If you like it, please support me. Chapter 9. Various Illusions, Lin Feng's Terrifying Cultivation. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Hongjun's divine consciousness secretly observed the baby in Nuwa's womb for a long time. The existence of variables, even his great ability that survived several tribulations, is the first time he has seen it. Its potential is terrifying, and its depth also deeply shocked him. After observing for a moment, he continued his preaching. Firstly, the time for preaching for 3,000 years has not yet come, and it cannot be stopped at this time, which is related to his future integration with the heavenly way. Secondly, the existence of variables allows the operation of the heavenly way to be free of its fixed number. Since the heavenly way has not issued a warning, there is no need to take it to heart. Of course, neither the heavenly Tao nor Hongjun at this time had thought of it. What a formidable variable they see as insignificant at the time of their birth. As Hongjun continued to preach, many great powers in the Purple Sky Palace could no longer enter the unexpected enlightenment state. Only a few of the top talents in the earth on that day can maintain this status quo. Kunlun Sanqing, Western Urshi, the two great golden clouds of the sun star, Kunpeng of the North Sea, Zenyuanzi of Wuzhuang Temple, and Hongyun of Hongyun Cave. Here are Nyua and Fu Shi, who lived on Fengqi Mountain in the Zhou dynasty. These few people, in the wilderness, are all prominent figures. Both in terms of strength and footwork, they far surpass many of the great abilities present. The state of enlightenment can be encountered but not sought. In this state, whether it is the understanding of the Tao or the cultivation of divine powers, it is of great benefit. Practicing for millions or billions of years may not be as profound as the enlightenment gained after listening to the teachings. With the pause of Hongjun Daozu's preaching just now, many great powers that could have been in an epiphany state immediately withdrew from that magical realm. It's easy to exit, but it's even more difficult to enter. Therefore, they can only look at the top few talents with envy on their faces. Hey, after this sage preached, the gap between us and those few people has widened even further. Who said it's not dark? Look, both the Sanqing and those two major Jinwu have already broken through a small realm. Have you seen the Nyua from Fengqi Mountain? Her cultivation speed is too fast, right? She has surpassed Sanqing and others. What? After hearing the last sentence, everyone who was chatting and whispering with their divine sense was shocked and looked at the fourth sitting Nyua. Sure enough. Under their divine sense, the cultivation speed of Nyua was several points faster than that of the nearby Sanqing. Moreover, Nyua, who was originally in the middle stage of the early stage of the great Luo Golden Immortal, had already reached its peak at an unknown time. The realm of the great Luo Golden Immortal is also considered a top-notch existence in the wilderness. The cultivators in this realm, whether they are divine powers or Taoist methods, are already extremely terrifying. I am the only one in the vast world of countless stars. Time cannot destroy its body, and time cannot erase its meaning. Do not store the past, do not explore the future, only store the present. A cultivator in this realm is just a small breakthrough, it is a new world. If there were no powerful innate spiritual treasures and inheritance, there would be no cross-border battles in the realm of Daoyuo Jingxian. Because the only difference between a small realm is the endless accumulation of spiritual energy and the realization of Taoism. However, Kunlun Sanqing, who was originally above cultivation, was unexpectedly surpassed by Nyua at this time. The terrifying cultivation speed has shocked everyone present. You should know that even if it is the transformation of Pangde Yuanshan, with deep following and integrated origin, the three cleanliness is only the peak of the early stage of the great Luo Golden Immortal realm. However, Nyua not only came from behind but also rapidly increased in her cultivation speed. If this continues, then surpassing Sanqing may be a matter of time. It's really scary. Although this Nyua used to have a slight reputation, she never expected her intelligence to be so terrifying. What the Taoist friend said is extremely true. Being able to catch up with others' cultivation even when there is a clear difference between the two is truly terrifying. In the future, when you see the Nyua Fushi on Fengqi Mountain, you should be cautious. After seeing Nyua's current state and terrifying cultivation speed, the mentality of the many great experts present gradually changed unconsciously. This world is like this, the strong are respected. Although Honghuang emphasizes the law of fate and causality, in the end, it is still who has a hard fist to see. And now, the position of Nyua has gradually surpassed the prestige of Sanqing without realizing it. And the reason for this situation is still because Lin Feng is practicing in the belly of Nyua. When Lin Feng was comprehending the Hongmeng Creation Sutra, various auspicious signs flashed, surrounded by 3,000 paths. The rich and unchanging Tao rhyme constantly envelopes him. And precisely so, Nuwa also gained great benefits. The rich Taoist charm makes Nuwa's spiritual platform more clear and bright. The 3,000 paths surrounding Lin Feng made it easier for Nuwa to comprehend the magical powers of the Tao. It's like 3,000 paths placed in front of her for her to comprehend. Some of the difficulties in previous cultivation are now like weak window paper, which can be easily broken with just a poke. In this way, can Nuwa's cultivation speed still slow down? And this is just the beginning. Lin Feng, who has officially practiced the Hongmeng Creation Sutra, is now in the realm of immortality. The meridians and bones within the body have been transformed by the mysterious purple spiritual energy. The benefits that cannot be seen are a significant increase in the potential for footwork, and a greater chance of reaching the pinnacle in the future. And the obvious benefit is the terrifying cultivation speed. Lin Feng, who was also in an epiphany, felt like he was floating in the ocean of the Tao. The previously unreachable path is now placed in front of him, seeking to be taken. The heavenly immortal realm, which had just entered the realm of Hongmeng, is rapidly rising under the state of enlightenment. As time passed, the obstacles in his cultivation seemed invisible to him. In the early stage of immortality, in the middle stage of immortality, at the peak of immortality, break through. Hongmeng's second transformation. The realm of true immortals. As the realm broke through, the already terrifying auspiciousness became even more magnificent. The rich and profound Tao rhyme now seemed to solidify, tightly enveloping Lin Feng and Nuwa. The result of this scene is that Nuwa once again broke through.